Check out how fast these dwarf tomatoes are growing. Time to get them into their own jar.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt the Garden Guy, and I make how-to videos to help you grow the food that you eat. And yes, I'm in my basement, because I grow food in my basement, and I'll teach you as well. Alright everybody, now we're going to have the task of taking each of these tomato plants. So it looks like all three of them did germinate. Look at this one random one right there. I know I didn't put 4 seeds in there, but what I want to do is I'm going to try to leave that one in the middle. And when I take the 2 ends, I don't want to take them out, preserving all of the roots, because then what we want to do is we want to transplant one of them inside the mason jar, so that we have one tomato plant. These are the dwarf cherry tomatoes in our mason jars. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and just take all of the growing medium. I'm using these small rock clay pebbles. These guys are going to help preserve the roots a lot better than those bigger clay pebbles right now. Got that to the side. Let's grab another little platter here. And the purpose of this is I want to put the tomato, when I pull it out, I want to lay it right on here. So here we go. Let's see how good I am. I'm just gonna there you go. I don't want to touch the roots. I don't want to disturb any of those. I don't want to get any of my oils from my fingers on those roots. Set that to the side. I'm going to give it a little bit of water. I don't know why, nothing scientific, just something inside of me is telling me to do that. I don't know, the spray biter goes. Alright, so, yeah, it looks like some of the roots broke off. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt to get this plant inside this net pot right here. What I'm going to first do is grab some of these pebbles here. I'm going to start filling up the bottom a little bit. And that's because this guy isn't that long. And I really want like the base right here to be sticking up. I might have to get some of those bigger pebbles. Maybe line. I don't know what to do yet. But we're doing this together. So maybe I got too much in there. Take some of that out. Let me just start putting them in there. Let's see how it goes. Doesn't look like we're going to have enough to really support this guy. I think I am going to need some of those bigger pebbles. But I think if I get a lot of the bottom lined up with the smaller ones, the bigger ones will just sit right there on top. The tricky part, I really can't let this guy go yet, because if I let it go, it's going to fall over, and maybe it'll be fine. Because it's just, yeah, actually, it's fine. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so it just fell over to the side, and that's fine. I'm going to get those bigger clay pebbles, just kind of line them up there. There we go. I'm using these bigger clay pebbles. There we go. So now I'm just going to pop these right in there. I'm going to try to be gentle to this plant as much as I can. There we go. I think, you know what? I think it's going to be good. Don't worry, I'll show you guys how it looks. There we go. Yeah. I'm actually really happy with this. There you go. So now what we're gonna do is I got this mason jar here. I'm gonna put this to the side really quick. I gotta get some fertilizer. I wanna get the fertilizer in here. Then we're gonna go in and fill this guy up with water. Just put it right in there. All right, everybody, I'm using this liquid fertilizer right here from Modern Sprout. They have two different kinds. This one is perfect for fruiting and flowers, so vegetables, you know, fruit trees, lavender, all the other stuff. I got some other ones over there, which is perfect for my herbs, like I got right up here. My basil, I gave it a little bit of a haircut today. So this fertilizer, we're just going to put a very small amount inside of here. Get it all mixed up. I got to get a little eyedropper. But for now, this is going to do, again, probably just a little bit more. There we go, that's it. Now we're going to go ahead and get our water in here. There you go. We'll go ahead and put our net pot. Throw that right in there. There we go. I think this is going to be great. I'm going to put a little bit more water in here just because I feel like it. There we go. Boom. Look at that right there. So now we have successfully transplanted one of the Dwarf cherry tomatoes. I have one more in here that I want to get transplanted. That is what we're doing right now. Really working on our indoor garden, focusing on dwarf plants, keep them nice and small. I've got a lot of room down here in the basement. Got enough, but not a lot to grow those big plants. So there you go. Let me know if you're growing dwarf cherry tomatoes, how they're working for you. And I'll continue to keep you all posted in the progress of the indoor gardening dwarf cherry tomatoes. Alrighty, friends, I'm also working on my herbs. I have some mint growing right now. I have some lavender. Yes, you can grow lavender inside. Rosemary, cilantro. I love this stuff. I've got some parsley up there. Got some more cilantro. Basil, like I showed you earlier. What we need to do with these is we got to get some fertilizer in there. So I'm using the other blend of the water soluble, water-based fertilizer. So super easy. Pull a plant out, but you got to be careful because you see right now we have those rocking roots. Here's one right here with the cilantro. We want to be very careful not to hurt those roots. So you're going to need to have probably 3 hands. So good luck. Here we go. Just going to go ahead and lift this guy a little bit up. Throw some of this in there. Grab the water. There we go. Easy. Now I got to get the rest of my plants. So working on also fertilizing my herbs. Just got my tomatoes done. Just looking up there. Got some lettuce in my other hydroponic system. It's all about hydroponics right now. In the indoor gardening, I'll be starting with some dirt stuff later on. What else can I grow inside? Patio snack peppers. And did you know you can grow sugar snap peas. Got these dwarf ones. We're gonna go ahead and get these started right now. Alrighty, so how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know, but I'm gonna chuck some sugar snack peas in my net pot in my jar. And we're gonna make some hydroponic goodness. How many takes did it take for me to say that? 2. The first time, I knew what to say. I just said it wrong. Second time, nailed it. So I'm just getting some plastic off. I'm reusing some of these jars here. Alrighty. So we're going to use, we're doing sugar snap peas. So I'm not going to use fertilizer first. Forgot almost the mental issue. When we're first starting these, we don't throw any fertilizer in there. So I'm going to grab my net pot here. Got some of this growing medium here. I'm going to go and just throw a bunch of this in there. And then I got my bigger ones. I'm doing some layering right now. I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I do. Anyway, there we go. Now what I like to do is, because these are nice and dry, these are nice and dry little clay pebbles, I'm going to just give them a spray if my spray bottle works. No, so I'm going to just dump some water on top of them. There we go. We'll use that to kind of fill up the jar. Now we're going to grab our sugar and dwarf peas. Let's see here. So dwarf sugar and peas are ideal for container gardening with a compact of 18 to 24 inch vines that can produce very quickly. Sweet. That's what I like. I like quickly. Yeah. Just reading the rest. Light sunlight. Well, guess what? It's getting no sunlight. It's going to use my artificial lights. So that should be good. Planting depth 1 inch. Yeah. I need to take some of these pebbles off. And then we'll probably put the pebbles on top of them. There we go. Let me throw that in here. All right, so let's grab these. Same size as the normal guys. There you go. So I'm just going to kind of just sprinkle them on top here. I want you guys to come in here and look at this. There you go. And I'm just going to grab the big guys and just throw them right on top. Why not? I've never grown sugar peas inside. So there you go. Sugar and dwarf peas. Hydroponics. Growing inside, in the basement, in the winter. Let's do it. Alrighty, indoor garden crew, thanks for sticking around with me. We have our last thing that we're going to be starting. We're going to be starting our pepper patio snack pack. Produces a delightful array of small snack-sized peppers that range from 1 to 2 inches. Let's see here. It says that it says transplanted outside when it's 12 to 18 inches. Hopefully we can keep it right around that 1 to 1.5 foot size. So next we are going to get these in there. So now I need to get a net pot, ones that I have. So this is going to be fine. This is a temporary solution. So just like we did with our tomatoes, as these guys start to germinate, I'll pull them out and I'll go ahead and put them into some bigger net pots. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and line this guy up with a bunch of the growing medium, and then I'm just going to layer the seeds right on top of the rocks here, or a more sophisticated term, growing medium. Yeah, that's how we are here. All right, cool. Just going to get this in there. All right, perfect. So my growing medium, nice and wet. I want to dry off my hands a little bit because I'm going to be touching some seeds, and I might end up putting a couple back. I don't know. So let's get these guys out. Let me open it from the bottom so I can, because they put the label on the top. All right, so definitely normal looking pepper seeds. There you go. So I'm going to just be planting them right on the surface level. That one fell down. That should be fine. There we go. And this worked really well when I germinated the tomatoes. I know peppers do take a quite longer time to germinate. There we go. We have them in here. I'll try to get the spray bottle working for me. There we go. And now we're going to put just straight up water in here, no fertilizer yet. We're going to put some plastic on top to kind of help with the artificial dome greenhouse. Keep all that heat in there. There we go, folks. Ready, gardening friends. I hope you enjoyed me all season long as I continue to work on my indoor garden. This is just a beginning step. Got my herbs growing there in the back. Just worked on our tomatoes, bok choy. We got some sugar peas, some peppers in there, and I got a head start working on my lettuce. Hey, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give this a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I please ask that you please consider subscribing, following my platform here. We'll talk to you later. Keep growing and have a good night.